Penguins get multiple updates. This is big, as a game against the Los Angeles Kings ended in a loss where, Sergey Murashov was playing pretty well, but Kevin Hayes also made his return in a game where they unfortunately did end up losing. But we're going to talk about why these updates were important going into the game. Sergey Murashov, Kevin Hayes, and Ben Kindle also left the game with an injury but did come back. But unfortunately, the Penguins do lose, to me, due to a couple defensive laps. So we're going to get into that and more in today's video. Before we do that, make sure you guys do, of course, subscribe to the channel. Currently, 67.5% of Penguins Digest viewers are not subscribed. So if you do want to subscribe to the channel, we are providing you with all things Pittsburgh Penguins. Right when they come out, we'll be here right on the channel to give you rumors, trades, line changes, game recaps, game previews when we can, and we'll be here to give you that all on the channel. So, if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure you guys do subscribe. I'm going to be here as much as I can for you guys throughout the season, and it looks like the season is getting more interesting because the Penguins are dealing with some injuries. A new goalie came up today, Sergey Murashov, who I knew we were all excited for. I thought he played a decent game. Kevin Hayes back in the lineup, but they're still dealing with a ton of injuries, including Rickard Rakell, probably the biggest one, obviously. Noel Chari's out. Justin Brazeau, a huge one, who was, playing lights out for the Penguins in terms of goal scoring. And they did have to tweak their lineup, of course. But let's get into the bulk of the video now before I waste more of your time. First things first. Pens Has Scoop posted earlier today, before the game, Sergey Murashov will make his NHL debut against the Kings. He said, it's definitely something you dream about from your childhood. The goalie after getting called up. And of course, Sergey Murashov has been the best goalie in the AHL. I believe he won goalie of the month in October. I think he had like 1 or 2 losses, posting just crazy save percentages and goals against average. He has been borderline unbeatable on that Wilkes-Barre Scranton squad. And I think he has been someone that Penguins fans have been super excited for, despite Jari, who's also now injured, and Shilov's playing well. Murashov seems like the guy who could be the Penguin starter for the next 10 years, maybe, if things go well. And they are pretty solid in that goaltending department. Again, also, Dan Muse did have this to say about Murashov as well. He's extremely competitive, athletic, just always in battle with loose pucks, scrums, and everything else. When you see him off the ice, he's extremely, extremely driven and very diligent in terms of his training and his preparation. And yeah, I think, obviously Sergey Murashov, I cannot say enough good things about him. We talked about him at length throughout the offseason. Even going into the season, if he could make the team. Obviously, Jari playing super, super well. Kept him in the AHL maybe for good reason. Obviously, he had an okay game today. Again, this is his first game. I think the Kings are a decent team, so, maybe not the easiest one to go into for your first game. But at the end of the day, it's the NHL, so all players are going to be, pretty solid. At the end of the day, Murashov, I think he's a big future with the Penguins. Is it right now? I'm not too sure. Once I get into the box score, I will kind of talk about what I liked from his game and what I didn't love. Obviously, there was a certain goal that, a lot of people didn't like. So, with all the injuries happening with the Penguins and stuff like that, the big thing was, what are the lines going to look like? So, the first line, personally, I'm not a fan of what they're doing with the first line. I think Brian Rush didn't look that great tonight. There were some defensive lapses in this game. Again, not as offensively scary as you want it to be. Sidney Crosby. But I don't think Kindle is a winger in the NHL. I think he looks way better as a center. There was a point where I'll get into later where Kindle did leave the game and they moved Connor Dewar up to the first line. But I think Ben Kindle should be in that third line center role. I think it's perfect for him, especially if you're going to give him the first power play unit. You don't need him to be on that first line right wing. I think you want him to be a center. You don't need to, push him up just because he looks, he's been playing super well. I can't deny that. And, maybe he does deserve to go off the lineup. To me, he's a center in the NHL, and he's been excelling in that role. And ever since he's been with Crosby on that first line wing, I don't think he's looked as dangerous as he has than when he was on that third line center role with someone like a Koivunen and Tomasino or even a Novak. But again, a lot of injuries with the Penguins right now, so lines, unfortunately, do have to be shuffled. Not everyone's going to be as comfortable as they want to be, but maybe that's part of development in the NHL, of course. So, and the box score, let's get into it. So first things first, Tommy Novak, a really good goal from Malkin and Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon made a nice play coming down the wall to Malkin, who passed it, who gave a nice dish to Novak in front of the net. He scored. I also did see a quote that Malkin said throughout the offseason. He thought him and Tommy Novak would have would have some good chemistry, and that remained true. So obviously, a pretty solid goal there. The only goal I didn't love that Murashov gave up was the Kopitar goal. It was just like a side, like a 90-degree shot from the side on the power play. You probably do want that back if you're Murashov, in my opinion. It's just an unfortunate, goal to give up, your first NHL goal against. But he did bounce back. He had a lot of saves that I think were solid. There was a shorthanded save he made that was really, really good, where he came across and stopped the Penguins from giving up a shorthanded goal. And then obviously the Mantha goal was pretty solid from Letang and Koivunen. Shout out Billy Koivunen. The Penguins are still getting it done on the power play, which is pretty solid. And then the Perry goal and the Fiala goal, I thought on the Perry goal, he was screened. It was a tough one to give up. I know I'm making a lot of, sometimes you may want to say, but again, I'll give more leeway to the goalie here, who is in his first NHL game, and former Penguin Cody Ceci picking up the primary assist there. I know he was super loved in Pittsburgh. And then the Kevin Fiala goal was just a defensive tire fire from Patrick Waterspoon and Erik Karlsson. They kind of both just got dusted on the way down. Waterspoon was in no man's land. It looks like Karlsson didn't even try to get Fiala. When he came out, he was kind of close, but, very little effort from him on that goal. So just unfortunate. I think the Penguins should have played a tighter defensive game because it was a rookie goalie, so you would have liked them to, to be more, take more care of their defensive, placements and IQ, but unfortunately that just is not what happened. And so obviously Murashov did end up with an .889 save percentage, 24 saves on 27 shots, 3 goals against. An okay debut, in my opinion. I don't hate it too much. I think you still give him some more run with the team with Jariel. Obviously, Shilov is going to be their guy, but he did have that loss in the last game where he just got dusted in the shootout, which is an interesting thing to follow because apparently the stats say he is not great on breakaways or shootouts for Shilov, that is. But Murashov, I think they should keep giving run to. I liked his I like the way he looked, at the floor of his game. I think he's solid back there in net. Obviously, looked pretty good, unfortunately, aside from that Kopitar goal. But if we're looking at the other 2 goals, the Fiala goal and the Perry goal, I can't be too mad at him. I think the defense just needs to tighten up there, again, especially if there's a rookie goalie in net who has not played an NHL game before. So you want more from the Penguins on that. And in some of the post-game quotes, Brian Rust and Dan Muse also did kind of echo what I'm thinking here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments on how the Penguins played in terms of their first game in front of Sergey Murashov. Let me know what you thought of Murashov's game as well. And then, of course, also Kevin Hayes, first game with the Penguins today. He didn't really do too much. 10 minutes of ice time, 2 shots, no points. So, but I did want to bring that up that he is an NHL veteran. It's nice to just have another body in there who has played a lot of NHL games. Not expecting too much out of him. The third line center, maybe ideally your fourth line center, because I think you want Kindle as your third line center. But it is going to be what it is right now. I don't know why he's listed as a right wing on the ESPN website, but maybe ESPN has to check that more. But I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because Kevin Hayes coming back is, it's not a big story, but it's someone to look out for. Maybe he could do some more. Again, he's 6'6". The guy's always been huge. Maybe you could put him on a line with Brazoa. You put him on a line with Mantha and Malkin. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments as well. Another thing that Josh Yohe mentioned, he's been kind of on Letang throughout the season in terms of defensive laps. Letang trapped and took his time getting back. Goals against because of him are at an alarming rate during the season. Yeah, and I kind of agree with this with the Corey Perry goal. He kind of was standing there like a sitting duck. You do want more for him in that kind of area. So, obviously, I think Kris Letang and Erik Karlsson, both of them, I don't know what we're expecting from them defensively at their age. They've never been strong defensively, but it'd be nice if you just, it's fine if you're bad, but it just looks bad if you're bad and the effort is not there. I think, especially with the Penguins, playing so well, I think fans want to see every player locked in and just, trying their best out there every game as much as they can, of course. And then another thing quickly is Ben Kindle, got hurt because he ran to the boards because of Brant Clark. He did leave the game, and Connor Dewar was up there, and then luckily Kindle did come back. But I thought it was important to mention that. Again, I still think Kindle should be that third-line center. I would rather play someone else on that first-line wing. It's Sidney Crosby, and I understand the opportunity you want to give Kindle, but I think he's getting that on the first power play unit. You don't need to keep playing him so much. I get he's young, he should have the legs, but again, as much as we love how much he's been playing, I think you still want some experience on that first line. Like we even saw Billy Koivunen get some runtime up there in the first couple games. He didn't look good there. I haven't loved Kindle there, but maybe you give it a couple more runs and not just give up on it 2 games into the season. So it looks like the Penguins are finally doing their Global Series trip. They have game so today is Sunday when I'm recording this. Their next game isn't until Friday against the Nashville Predators at 2 p.m. And then they have a 9 a.m. game against the Nashville Predators, which is 2 days later. So let me know if you guys are going to be watching that. I think it's nice. A little Sunday morning, you can wake up, have a coffee, have some tea, and watch the Pittsburgh Penguins play. I feel like you're never going to get the opportunity again. And then again, the Wild also in the Global Series. So I believe that is in Sweden. So they don't play till Friday and then Sunday. And then if you look at that, they don't play again until Friday. So maybe that game was not in Sweden. I have to check that. But some super interesting stuff going on. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys thought about Sergey Murashov's NHL debut. Let me know what you guys think about the line shuffling going on with all these injuries. And of course, we will be back covering all things Pittsburgh Penguins. And of course, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace out for now and have a great Sunday evening and enjoy your week.